They also underline the importance of a perpetually lived organizations, because even though if you transform your privilege into laws and rights, if the existing political order can be replaced so easily, then you don't feel secured. If you're elite, and in order for you to transform your privileges and vested interest into rights and laws, you have to have the trust in the existing regime. You don't want to have your rights and laws be changed or replaced or removed when the new regime came in. So they want to have a perpetually lived organization, not only in the political arena, but as well as other arenas, including economy. For example, if you invested a lot of your privileges into the currency, but if the exchange rate is manipulated or changed, maybe you lose a lot of money. Although you have billions of money, but it means nothing if this economic kind of exchange mechanism are not perpetually lived. So they argue that in order for the rule of law to emerge, the elite have to have a trust in the existing political and economic and social institutions and orders to be maintained in the future. Finally, as a third criteria, they analyze the importance of controlling military. This last point, control of military, is so important, so I will get back to this later. But before, I would like to introduce another interesting discussion that was made by North and his colleagues in their book called Violence and Social Orders. They discussed under what conditions do elite will be able to reach a consensus. Their answer is very simple. They argued that the elite will collaborate when they see that expected increase of their spoils will exceed when they are collaborating than competing. If you believe that you are strong enough, maybe you can initiate a warfare with other elite, and then you may be able to take what they have. And that could be a huge increase in terms of your privileges and interest. But at the same time, you have to always be careful not to be attacked by other elite. They share some episode, and I will translate that into probably a Japanese context. Let's imagine that you are members of the Yakuza or the Japanese mafia. Because you are more powerful than the ordinary citizen and maybe business sectors, you can actually attack them and get their wealth. By doing that, you can be richer. But at the same time, your relationship with these business actors can be short-lived. And maybe you can get a lot of wealth for short term, but you will not be able to sustain that kind of relationship. So you will have to find other target in other city or other business sectors. However, when you can find a job such as providing, say, escort to a particular business leaders, then you can get probably a smaller amount of money, but maybe your relationship will be more sustainable. So in the long run, you may be able to get more financial resources than just depriving that from the business leaders. Perhaps you are more physically stronger than the business leaders, but maybe business leaders are more capable of generating a far much greater amount of monies. For mafias or yakuza, sometimes it may be much more efficient and effective to collaborate with these business actors. And North and his colleagues argued that under such circumstances that the military may be willing to put themselves under the control of someone. Although the military still have the power not to follow the political elite when they find it that what they are getting actually is not as they expected. And also, in order for them to keep receiving their spoils, they can use of force, or they can use the threat to use of force, because the military still have the ability to destroy existing structures and threaten the political, social, and economic elite. So it's not as a perfect control of military by the political actors, but that's, they said, one of the conditions, prerequisite for a military to be able, or the political order to be able to put the military under their control. And here, they emphasize the important concept called spoils. They argue that in these contexts, the economic incentives are used to coordinate among political elites, or it's a political use of the economic spoils and the distribution of the spoil, and they introduce the concept of rent, and rent is how you distribute this economic spoils. Just to recap, privileges of the economic, military, religious, social, political elites can be transformed into rights and laws when they find it in their interest to preserve their privileges and interest without paying too much cost of having their own private army to protect their privileges. And when such a consensus emerges among the elite, then we can say that rule of law among the elite will emerge. But for elite to be able to trust that their transformed rights and laws will be observed in the future, they have to have a trust in the existing social organizations, including political and economic.